Where do I start? I mean, Tim should have got him out of there in 3 rounds. I mean, I could sit there and bag the guy, but I don't know. I feel like it's a worse Tim. I don't know. I feel like...
Why?
I don't know. He still looked like he didn't know what he was doing. I mean, he couldn't finish him. He was prancing around a little bit. You're fighting a guy that wasn't throwing any punches. I mean, I know it's easier said than done. I'm a fighter. I've been in there, and there's critics on the outside saying do this, do that. But I don't know. I just feel like old Tim is better.
But was this a tactical thing? Was this under Pedro Diaz, you know, the new Tim doing something different?
Well, I'm hoping so, because if he's fighting like that, you're not going back to the top. Like, and I'm saying that not as a hater or not as me and Tim don't like each other. I'm just saying that as a pure boxing lover and from an outside, you know, we're talking. There's killers out there in my division, his division, and you know, doing that, you won't survive. And that's just the truth. Nothing against him. I was down there with the boys, and I actually wanted him to come out there and make a statement and have his moment of Tim's back, and you know, and it builds for potentially a bigger fight with me and him, or another Aussie winning a world title. But I wasn't impressed.
Well, I've got to say, Mick, with a new trainer, they often say trainers, it takes 2 or 3 fight camps to get the optimum understanding and chemistry. I thought tonight Tim was still too centre line. I didn't see any new head movement. I didn't see anything fresh in that regard. I thought his foot movement wasn't as good as it was in the sessions I saw with Diaz in the gym. And in terms of, he wasn't sitting on his punches early because he was probably being watchful. I thought his rounds 4 to 7 were brilliant. I thought his construction there was magnificent. Some beautiful uppercuts, a great right hand in the 6th round to cut him. And there, in the 7th round, Velazquez could barely open his eyes. He should have finished him there. But he let him off the hook, and Velazquez finished stronger. So for me, Tim, watchful, but that's not... There's a lot more levels in Tim Tszyu if he wants to win a world title, because right now, that's only an honest performance, but it's not superior.
Now his reflexes, Mick. What'd you make of that?
I mean, look, Tim's always got those reflexes. He's always, you know, he's a good fighter. I can't take nothing away from him. He's a patient fighter. A little bit, probably too patient tonight, I think. But I don't know. I just felt like he was in first gear, but didn't know how to get out of it. I mean, you know, like you start in that first gear and you slowly pick it up as the fight goes on. But you know, you've got a guy there that wasn't throwing anything, running around the ring. I don't know. I just felt like Tim needed to do a lot more to say I'm back.
Mick, you've changed trainers. Was he stuck between, was he in no man's land tonight, Tim? Did he seem a bit confused about what he used to do and what he wanted to do under Diaz?
Yeah, like in 2 months is not enough. I mean, it's like trying to write with your left hand. If you're right-handed, you know, in 8 weeks, you're not going to get the hang of it. You know, it's he needs way more time, and to go out there and try to implement things that the new camp have told him to do, it was never going to happen. Maybe that's why it was a little bit slower, because he needed to try to work out how to do these things in the ring. I mean, take nothing away from a win's a win, but I'm just saying for moving forward, you know, he wants to climb the ranks with these guys. He won't get there like that, fighting like that is,
yep.
You know?
Yep.
And I just felt like there was no spark.
You would have liked him to get tested more today. You expected it from Velazquez, and we spoke about his power, and yeah, he hasn't been fighting at Tim's level, of course, but it was disappointing that the Velazquez didn't come at him early.
And every time he did, he was landing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, this is a guy that respectfully isn't on Tim's level and doesn't have the IQ of some of the fighters, and was landing these big shots.
Do you think in Tim's mind, though, he thinks he's back? I mean, he seemed to think afterwards that he was, or deep down, would he know what we're all saying?
I mean, I hope he can take everything away from everything. Hopefully he can agree with us. And put his ego aside and whatnot, and congratulations, he's got the win. A win's a win, but he always thinks ahead, and this is what I think his problem is. He always thinks, what's next? I mean, instead of getting better, he's talking about fighting this guy and the world champion.
So if you were his camp, what would you do now? Is it baby steps from here? Is it, you know, I'd go back to the drawing board?
I'd be just sitting in the gym and mastering, you know, and because you're coming off these losses, you need to come back with something different, you know. So I wouldn't care about, he's still young, you know, I wouldn't be caring about when's the next fight in a couple of months, and I'd be sitting in the gym and really implementing this new game plan and implementing this new training, because the trainer's unbelievable. You know, he hasn't trained 22 world champions for no reason. He knows what he's doing, but to go out there and fight and learn it in 2-3 months, it's not me, not him, not anybody can do that. That's life.
Well, Mick, I mean, he's talked about NRL Vegas. He wants to fight there. But for me, watching that tonight, he's not ready for a world title shot or anything near that in 2026. Now, I know Xander Zayas, the WBO champion, has apparently made contact with Tim Tszyu. So has Abbas Barao if he wins that unification fight. So there's world title potential on the horizon, but he's not ready yet. And Mike Altamura, their matchmaking strategist, he's magnificent. He's an almanac of boxing. He will know that you will not put him in with killers at the moment, or else he's in trouble. It'll be career-ending. So for me, next year, I'd forget about a world title fight in the next 12 months. I think he needs to bed down his chemistry with Diaz and hopefully come back in 27. But what I saw tonight, we need to find more levels from Tim Tszyu.
I guess they're not going to throw him into the Wolves. Yeah, the team has been criticised. I know he's got new management. The team's been criticised for the opponents, the choice of opponents. The last 3 out of the last 4, take away Joey Spencer's, they win in Newcastle. But Murtazalev and Fundura, well, he was unlucky the Fundura one, but obviously the Fundura the second fight. So they're being heavily criticised for that. So you can understand the caution with the opponent to rebuild, because you can only go one step at a time. It's small steps to get his confidence back, because well, you've experienced it, Mick, but none of us have experienced, you know, the devastation of multiple knockout losses like that. You haven't even experienced that.
No, yeah.
So, you know, that's almost career-ending for nearly every boxer in history that's gone through that.
100%, and like I guess there is a building process, but this was that building process, and he didn't go out there and make that statement, or didn't go out there and, you know, dominate. It was just a cruisy survival fight. You know, I feel like he could have done a lot more.
I felt early as if the new team, the new strategy, lots of jabs early, wasn't there? There seemed to be a lot more jabs there. Clearly, it's easy to jab with a guy that's your size compared to Fundura, who's 6'8". But that was noticeable early, tactically.
But I feel like he's always done that. Like I said, he's a good boxer. He's got great fundamentals. Yeah. He does things well. But I don't know. I feel like it was the same Tszyu, but I wouldn't say worse. That's probably a bad word to say. But like, I don't even know the word. Like less busy, I guess. You know, like less dominant.
I will say, Mick, in defence of Tim, the one thing I did like, though, was the one thing we've talked about him being arrogant in the past and reckless. And to his credit, I thought tonight he was very respectful of his opponent early, as he was against Mendoza. And even Jeff Horn when he beat him that night and that brilliant dismantling of him. So for me, Tim was perhaps trying to get back to that calculated technician that respects his opponent, builds into fights.
Post-game in the interview,
and he did. And so, look, I don't think this is the end for Tim Tszyu, but I still believe Diaz can get him to a world title. I really do.
Do you think he needs to stay in Oz, though? Do you think these next fights next year have to be on home soil?
100%, Megan. But I believe Diaz has the tools and the experience as a technician and a practitioner to get him back to a world title.